We do not have a BBA or BRA issue. We have a can't ask for what we think we worth issue. I had the opportunity to be with the California Association of Realtors, the Tennessee Association of Realtors, and the Minnesota Association of Realtors. And it was a very interesting week because I learned a couple of things I didn't know. And I wanted to come over here and have this discussion with you because, one, I don't care if you've been practicing real estate 50 years. I don't care if you've sold billions of dollars of real estate. Today, everyone is day one, ground zero. So this is what I've come to realize. When NAR announced their settlement agreement on Friday, March the 15th, 2024, we already knew that there were 13 states that in the past, going back to the 90s, already had mandated per their licensing rules and regulations that buyers get a signed buyer broker agreement or buyer representation agreement. So BBA or BRA or whatever the terminology is in their state. Here's why we are all day one, ground zero. In those states, even though they were getting these forms signed, most of them never, ever had a discussion around their compensation and the buyer having to pay it. Some of them were even instructed per the licensing rules and regulations in their state to put zero. So I initially thought that these 13 states were at an advantage. They're not at an advantage because even though they had to get the BRA, BBA signed, they still did not have to articulate their value proposition and ask for money. Now, over time, this past week, something very interesting happened. I am the largest single fundraiser for the Chicago Realtors Foundation. Now, why this surprises me, okay, is because I am a granddaddy's girl. My grandfathers provided for my needs and for my wants. I was taught to never ask anybody for anything. If I needed or wanted something, I was to get it from them. And the only thing that they did not buy me, because I'm clear, I was keeping tabs, was that art set that I wanted when I was 7. And I 100% believed that when I turned 21, I was going to get me a full-length raccoon coat that I did not get. But I did buy my own first full-length coat, which was a full-length purple mink when I graduated from undergrad. Now, they did buy me some little jackets, like I had rabbit furs. I think everybody had that same little rabbit fur coat. So I never asked people for anything. But what I do ask for is what I believe that I'm worth. So most of y'all know I'm going to ask for my money up front, okay? So that's why I don't understand why we're having a value articulation, why we can't articulate our value and ask for compensation, okay? But that agent who does $1 billion, that agent who has, 5 decades of experience, they're having the same identical problem. Actually, the problem is worse for them because sometimes we have a mindset issues and they're stuck in how they've always done it. How you always done it is not the way you can do it today. And be clear, moving forward in the future, someone said, well, what do I think is going to happen? I think brokerages and individual licensees are going to be sued individually. And I want you to be clear. You do not have the mental capacity or enough pockets to be able to be out here, focus on making money and dealing with a lawsuit. It is very hard to navigate both at the same time and afford to navigate both at the same time and pay your taxes. Just going to throw that out there. So with that being said, we're all at ground zero. So I don't want you to think anybody has an advantage today. No one has an advantage today in the world of real estate, except for maybe commercial real estate professionals, because they've been negotiating a letter of intent. So we go focus on residential agents. So what I was thinking about today, we've previously talked about all of the different sources of funds and the mentality. But I want to recap. I think that right now we need to think like commercial real estate professionals who historically have used the letter of intent. We need to think about like a global real estate professional. I am a CIPS. And with that being said, what I'm thinking about is I need to get a buyer agreement before doing any work. All right. So we need to change our thought process and how we're doing this. We need to think about EAH's, Employer Assisted Housing Program. You're going to hear me preach these same things. What are all the potential sources of funds? Gift funds. We have down payment assistance programs. We have EAH programs. The employer literally can give its employees up to $10,000 to buy real estate. Okay. So between a gift fund, a employer given funds, and down payment assistance, right? Plus, you can still ask the seller for money. I'm confused about why we can't get the mindset right to think like people who successfully done it and all these places we get to ask for money from. Okay. So you really could make more money if you came up with your value proposition and articulated it. Okay. So there is a post circulating from an attorney who's actually licensed in one of the states that I visited. And he told the real estate agent, put it in writing. And the real estate agent was so lazy that he decided his client wasn't worth it to ask for his compensation. Let me tell you the problem with that. That means forget your undivided loyalty and your reasonable skill and care. You just violate your fiduciary responsibilities because you so lazy. You won't write up an offer that asks for you to be compensated. The buyer does not have to offer you compensation. That is not their freaking responsibility. In today's world, dealing with the Department of Justice, post August the 17th, the buyer agent working with the buyer, being compensated for working with the buyer, should be paid by the buyer, or they should negotiate the money for the buyer to get paid because that ain't the seller's responsibility. And I don't know why we having a problem with this, because we got mindsets that we can work with and we got sources of funds to the real estate transaction. So the real question I have for you in all this arguing, your seller is going to walk away from the opportunity to get 98 to 97% of all the money that might meet the best terms. I'm inclined to believe the listing agent. I 100% believe the listing agent has prepared the seller that if we can get you 98 to 70 to 98 to 97, well, I should probably say 97 to 98% of all the funds, we going to ink this deal. All they got to do on the buyer side is ask for the money. Now, I don't know what kind of conversations people are having, okay, but I'm still a licensed managing broker. We ain't walking away from 97 to 98% of the money. Any agent I consult with will tell you, we're not doing that. And I get what I really want, because we're not talking about all those other terms, right? So to me, not only is it lazy that a buyer agent wouldn't write it up, it's high-level stupidity. I put that on a post the other day, because I would think that any top-producing listing agent has had the conversation. They just ain't telling you, and they don't owe it to you. They don't owe you the opportunity to know what they discussed with they seller, unless they seller dictates in writing that they get to tell you that amount. But I'm inclined to believe that if almost 10% of the agents are doing 90% of the business, they know how to negotiate. They've had that conversation. And let me give you a little tidbit. I'm married. I've been happily married for 18 years. I love my husband as the bomb. Okay. I pray over him. I manifest everything that I wanted. Okay. Stephen is infamous for going off. Infamous. Okay? When we got married, I decided in my mind that I would never get 100% of anything from him. However, failure is not an option. So I told myself, Marky, if you get 80% of everything that this man has to give, you are winning. The rule for me in my marriage is 80%. So I want 80% of his money in this house. Outside of work, I want 80% of his time to be around his family and even his friends, because our friends are our family, right? I'm winning. I had a relative, 80% is enough. Well, you can't, I'm sure you ain't getting more than 80%, right? So if I can, in my mind, negotiate that 80% is a B, I can't get you to get an A+. Because you do know 97, 98% that's a high A. That's A+, right? Well, if I look at my son's grades, oh, you know what? I can look at my son's grades. I just looked at this the other day, okay? He's a straight A student, right? Senior year. What is this? First semester. Austin has 97s, 98s. It's an A+. So you gonna let your seller walk away from an A+? I don't think, I 100% don't believe any listing agent is going to let their sellers walk away from getting all the terms that they want and 97 to 98% of the deal. But as a buyer's agent, we must ask for it in writing. If not, we're lazy. We're displaying high-level stupidity. We are not providing undivided loyalty, putting the needs and wants of our buyers before our own, even over our ability to earn compensation. Nor are we providing reasonable skill and care, which means you could lose your real estate license because you won't put it in writing. We do not have a BBA or BRA issue. We have a can't ask for what we think we worth issue. That's the issue that we are having today. So guess what I think we need to do? And I never thought this would be humanly possible. A real estate agent today can attract all the buyers simply by telling buyers what they owe. I'm going to show you all properties because I'm going to give you undivided loyalty. And because I pride myself on providing you with reasonable skill and care, okay, we're going to write this offer up. But let me be clear, an offer that your loan approval supports that we write up, okay? We're going to write that offer up, all right? And that we have comps to justify. Got to have a little different conversation here because I'm providing you with reasonable skill and care, all right? And I can attract new clients simply by doing what it is that I owe them according to license law. So today, guys, I want you to think about this. Now, I want you to think about it as a buyer agent. I don't think all these great listing agents gonna let you just walk away when they sellers can not net, because I don't know what the other costs are, but the offer comes in at 97 to 98%. Now, if the property's been reactivated on the market longer, definitely you can negotiate better terms, okay? If it's stale, go back and pull that address because you know they doing some hanky-panky sometimes in these MLSs. Because I want to see, did it go off market contingent upon your MLS? I go back and pull all the property history. I want everything about it and writing these offers because it's not making sense right now. But we have every tool and every resource we need right now. Nothing needs to be created for everybody to be successful. We have to have a shift in mindset. We can't do it the same way we've done it. On August the 17th, it was a reset. Regardless to how much tenure you have in this industry, regardless to how much real estate you have sold, the rule applies to everybody. It's not based on volume and or tenure, okay? And I just don't believe, I'm a seller. If you brought me all the terms and I get to stay in my house an additional 2 weeks and all these other great things, I'm going to take my 97 to 98% and I'm going to be elated. I'm going to think you did a good job. And I'm inclined to believe that there are numerous other sellers with the same identical mentality. But if you don't write it up and present it to me as a seller, no, I ain't giving you nothing of what you want. And I ain't going to tell you what I'm willing to pay up front, because that might not be, get this, that might not be what you negotiated for yourself. So why would I let my sellers give you a raise? I'm not letting my sellers give you a raise. Now, unless you're willing to show me your BDA, then maybe I can help you meet those terms. Now, let me be clear. I'm not recommending nobody show their BBA, because I ain't showing you the list agreement, okay? But why would I tell my sellers to put something out there first that you might not have been able to negotiate on your own? And based on what the internet is saying, you ain't doing a good job of negotiating on your own. So I'm inclined to believe that more sellers are not going to publicly offer anything because y'all having a value articulation issue on that side of the deal, okay? So that hit me. And of course, I thought that I should just come over here and talk a little bit about it, because it's not getting better. I hate to say this. It's like it's getting a little bit worse. But what I learned this week is that, yes, there were 13 states that had already mandated a buyer brokerage agreement and a buyer representation agreement, but they did not come with compensation. And what the true issue is that real estate buyer agents are having an issue with their value proposition, asking to be compensated what it is that they believe that they are worth. Change your mindset. Think about all of the sources to finance that dream. And keep in mind, I believe that the majority of sellers are ready, willing, and able to compensate you. If you're taking a look at those CMAs to see if that property had been reactivated, had done some price adjustments, if they've done some price adjustments, guess what? They are mentally ready to give up a little bit more money because they were overpriced in the first place. All right. Talk to you later.